Oh, hello there. Yes, well, good grief. It's very nearly the weekend, I'm pleased to say. It's been a funny old week one way or another. What was very amusing this week was seeing a landmark free speech case. Land, indeed, and be marquee. And for it to make no waves whatsoever amongst all of those people that scream blue murder about free speech. Quite strange. Yes, it was to do with a university. I know, yes, free speech in universities. Huge issue. Would have made huge news, wouldn't it? Yeah, you know, professors having to say what they think, say what they think, don't mind the students. Yes, indeed, yes, David Miller won his tribunal. And this silence is deafening. Yes, there's a whole bunch of non-trans related crickets out there making that particular noise. Yes, indeed. Briefly covered in The Guardian, Navarro Media a couple of nights ago actually did mention it. I thought I'd leave it until now because I thought, well, somebody somewhere will actually say something about this. And sure enough, that champion of free speech, GB News, leapt out of it with Jacob Rees-Mogg, that champion of free speech, especially at universities, because it's so important. It's so important that students aren't protected from views that they might find distasteful. Jacob? Well, apparently no, obviously. That would be a dafty thing to do. So we actually ended up, it's an astounding headline in Jewish Chronicle. You use Zionism as a cover for anti-Semitism. Jacob Rees-Mogg clashes with disgraced Professor David Miller. Odd that they haven't given Professor a capital P because it's a proper noun, but there we are. Disgraced. Odd use of the word because, of course, he's won all of his cases against the university which sacked him for being, well, anti-racist, in essence. What he's affirmed, of course, is that certain things are very much protected beliefs. And in terms of things like racism, it's one of them, which is quite heartening for somebody like me, because various people might sort of think, well, you're a teacher and you shouldn't really say things about the news. But it doesn't stop other people, does it? It doesn't stop your Frank Faridis or your Miss Sniffies, Catherine Bursinglias, and the rest of them from doing it. So I'm going to anyway. But my viewpoints don't affect my students, very much the same way as David Miller's don't, if you like. And he is allowed to think what he thinks, which the court has now affirmed. Jacob Rees-Mogg didn't like that. Of course not. Jacob Rees-Mogg thought that that was wrong and actually sort of ended up basically calling him an anti-Semite, even though the court has established that he hasn't. But Jacob isn't keen on courts, is he? No, don't like courts unless they agree with us. Don't like free speech unless it's the sort of thing that we want to hear. And sure as hell don't like free speech on campus if it's somebody that we don't agree with. Now, you can make all of that what it is, but I just find it astounding that these people just simply cower and remain silent whenever anything doesn't go their way. I mean, Jacob Rees-Mogg, to some degree of plus on his side, did actually invite the guy on. But the whole thing is completely loaded and you're expected to come away with the idea that this guy is just anti-Semitic, which he isn't, in much the same way as loads and loads of people who aren't very keen on what the Jewish state is doing to its nominally protected citizens and nominally not protected citizens in other countries, or indeed their influence on politics here. Yes. Very, very dodgy stuff that people need to say more. But of course, that goes against the establishment line. And all of those people at GB News, Free Speech Union, not a word. I've been searching high and low for any mention of this. The last time they mentioned David Miller was when he won his case back in February. Nothing about this one, because it really is an important landmark ruling, which I have no doubt the Free Speech Union will lean on legally for their particular "we don't like trans people" style cases. But yeah, it leaves a very, very bad taste in the mouth that it doesn't really matter how hard you fight and how much you have right on your side, especially a moral right. These people will engineer the game so you always lose, and you will always, no matter what, be disgraced. Unless, of course, you're one of the chosen ones, yes. In which case you can say anything you like about, well, the Hungarian government, can't you? Yes. Or indeed about the way that people like me are ruining education. Or maybe not. Anyway, do have a lovely Thursday. Strangely warm. I was actually warm yesterday. Odd sensation in our chilly chilly and authoritarian and repressive country that we have. Yes, enjoy.